Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this new month. Happy new month, everybody. November the 1st, 2023. Very rare I get to say that at this time of the year because usually nobody comes on my show at this time of the year. So usually you'll say no or they're busy with a project. So it's quite good to be actually here on a November 2023. But tonight or this afternoon, depending where you're watching this from, we've got a great person on the show, and I was quite happy that that you accepted to be on my show tonight. He is a great singer, songwriter. He's also written some fantastic people as well, which we'll dive into. But please welcome on James Laurent. I apologize if I mispronounced that, but how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, no, I thank you for accepting to be on the show. And what made you to accept? Because I messaged you quite late one night, and then you responded within like 20 minutes, I think it was. So I think, and that was also on a Saturday, so I wasn't expecting a response on a Saturday night my time, but no.
Yeah. It's weird because when it comes down to my Instagram DMs, there are
Yeah.
some that like go directly to those hidden requests that come through, and then other ones that pop up on my phone. And yours popped up on my phone, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens." And yeah, after a little bit of planning, we got it all settled down to a date. It
Yes.
took me a second to realize the time difference between LA and the UK.
Yeah, and then when you messaged me to begin with about doing it today, I completely forgot that the clocks were going to go back here that week when you emailed me to say, can you do this day? And I said yes, and I realized after that, oh shoot, our clocks go back. So I that's why I sent you an email. I don't know if you received it or not, to say that the clocks will be going back, so it'll be an hour forward than what you probably would have thought. So yeah, because usually it's 8 hours between us and California, but at the moment it's only 7 hours. So you get one back, I guess.
Yeah, I made that switch on my calendar, and I made sure that I was I got to be there.
Yeah, you gotta be there. That's good to see, and thank you so much for checking me out. And did you check out any of the links I sent you?
Yeah, I watched a couple interviews, kind of get a feel for how everything goes,
Yeah.
kind of, see what I was getting myself into.
Well, I'm glad you checked out some of the interview. I hope you enjoyed my style and the way they come across as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, cool. Of course, you're in California, but you're not originally from California. You're from Wisconsin, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and at the age of 17, I moved to Arizona to study audio engineering
Yes.
at college. And once I finished that, I moved out to California, and I've been here for about 3 years. My
Wow.
first year here was I moved to California, and 2 months later, the pandemic happened. So it's been nothing but crazy since I've been here.
Yeah, sorry about that, but I'm glad that things are now hopefully back to normal of some sort from when you first moved to California, hopefully. And now hopefully you get to experience more of the place of where you call home as well.
Yeah, it's been interesting because I'm not really into like all the touristy sightseeing stuff.
Hmm.
So like being as everything was closed when I first got here, I didn't feel like I was missing out. And even now that it's all opened up, I don't think I maybe saw like the Hollywood stars,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the stars on the sidewalk.
Hmm.
I think I saw that once or twice, but that was only because I was working right next to it, and I was like, "Oh, these are cool." Other than that, I just the big groups of people and all the tourists. That's not my style. I
No,
don't really
no.
like it.
No, I agree with you there because like your personal space, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
dude.
there's too many
Oh,
people around.
no, I hate the big groups of people and like everybody wants something, and then
Yeah.
you have those pushy ass costume people trying to get like the pictures and shake you down for money. Oh, it is not my style. I don't like it at all. The
I'm
six
more.
feet for COVID was perfect. I was like, yeah, stay away from me.
Well, I guess all good things must come to an end.
Yeah, yeah,
and
man.
but I mean, speaking about the stars, I had a guest on last week called Louis Perea. think it's how you pronounce it, Prima. Louis Prima, his name is, and his father got a Walk of Fame on the sidewalk in 2010 for his contributions to jazz music and beyond, and so that was very nice to see. So you probably would have seen that when you walked down the side streets of California.
Yeah, it is cool to see, like, once to kind of walk through and see who you know.
Yeah.
It's just pick a day, it's not busy, and you'll have a lot more fun.
But the thing is, I bet it's quite hard to pick a day because I guess it's always busy in California. You know, as they say, it never wanes.
Yeah, you gotta pick a day where the weather's slightly worse than every other day of the year,
Right.
and preferably a weekday at maybe like 1 to 2 p.m. when most people are working.
Well,
And you'll have a slightly better time than if you go any other time.
you now just mentioned the time. Now many people might just go now at 1 o'clock, 1 to 2 o'clock now to go and race down there to do that because it's the best time to go. So now be busy now.
I wish I had that level of influence.
What you do? You're quite the celebrity yourself. You got your great followers. You've got a great portfolio behind you as well in your short career in the music industry. So as you were growing up then in Wisconsin, who inspired you then to think, I might give this a go?
Me getting into music was actually a very long story.
You can go ahead. I like long stories.
Growing up, I was very interested in music. My dad was always had the best music on hand, and I found some of my favorite bands, which happened to be Linkin Park and Hollywood Undead. I really liked Hailstorm a lot, and Eminem and Lil Wayne. He had all the best music growing up, but I wasn't musically talented at all. I had taken orchestra and band in school, and I was so bad at the instruments that the teachers told me to stop playing them. Like, it wasn't worth my time. So I actually I had played soccer for 14 years, and my senior year of high school, I had a professional tryout in Sweden. And 2 weeks before that, I tore my ACL. And so I had to give up my soccer career, and I had nothing else going for me because I didn't really apply to colleges because I was like, I'm just going to go play soccer.
Yeah.
And so I took my family laptop and I just downloaded music software and started trying to learn how to rap. And it was awful for almost until about 2 years ago. It was just garbage. But I did fall in love with the process of making it, like the engineering the song, seeing how I could make it better, learning different tricks and how it can make things sound better. So I fell in love with that process. So I had to make the career switch into music very late in my life. Probably like, I think I started when I was 16 or 17, whereas most people, it seems like since the SoundCloud era, they started getting famous at that age. And that's when I was trying to just start.
Yeah. Well, as well, not just that, but some people start when they're a child as well, like 4 or 5 years old, maybe younger than that, and then the parents put into loads of competitions and whatnot. But I like your story. It's very different from the stories we usually get on this show. So I'm glad we got a different kind of story of how you got into it, which is quite good.
I do like that it does at least show me that it's like not everything comes down to talent. Like, these are skills you can learn, because I had no musical skills, but now I've like been able to teach myself how to match pitch and find vocal harmonies and tricks of like using frequencies for different instruments. Like I get so nerdy when it comes to the engineering side of like, how can I make this sound so cohesive and fit together? Like, I find music is like a puzzle to me now, and I just want to solve it. I was like, this is the instrumental. What are the words that make this puzzle complete? And like, how can I add the different vocal layers to make the puzzle bigger and better? And it's very interesting. It's hard to explain how I hear and see it, but I do like it a lot. I find it challenging in all the best ways.
But that's good. That's good because you're challenging yourself to make each track you produce, or even maybe help out other people to make it better than the last one or your own last one as well. And each track you have released, or album, whatever it may be, it has each one gets better and better. Like, how can you smash the next one, type of thing. And each one
Yeah.
just gets better and better, and it's showing on your social media, because you're getting thousands and thousands of views now, and it's going worldwide, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it was back in 2021. One of my first singles I had put out was called Nightcrawler, and that was with a pop punk artist from Japan. And so being able to start having a global outreach is exciting. It's very interesting. His name was Yasu. He's an awesome dude.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm always wanting to branch out to different countries, and I never actually had anyone come out from Japan yet. Would be cool though. But that is a great name to stand out as well from everybody else in those markets. In the what's it called? Like the K-pop, is it called that or something? I know it's quite big over
Oh
there.
yeah, they have like K-pop and
Yeah,
J-pop
that's
and
it.
all of those. Man,
There's so many to keep up with these different styles and genres nowadays. But the thing about your style is because you're able to somehow mix together rock and pop together as well. Um, and was that quite challenging at first to bring those two completely different styles together into your music?
yeah, it was, and it wasn't exactly where I thought I would end up because initially I had started only rapping,
Yeah,
and
that's
then I
right.
think 2019 I was like, I kind of want to start getting back into rock. Like this is the music I actually
Yeah.
like I grew up and was inspired by. And then I did a couple tracks like that, but then the big hyper pop boom kind of happened in like 2020,
Hmm.
2021. And I found like a lot of the intricacies of the melodies really interesting. And so I started like trying to see how hyperpop was, and I remembered my days listening to like Skrillex and Dead Mouse back in like middle school when dubstep was really big. And I was like, I wonder if I could blend EDM with rock. And I was like, okay, there are certain ways to do it. And I found it to be a little challenging.
Yeah.
Then my girlfriend, Lainey Piper, she's a dark pop artist. And after listening to her songs and seeing what I could do vocally for producing her and all the different options available for harmonies and layers, I was like, maybe let's drop the EDM and change to like having this alternative pop mixed
Hmm.
with this alternative rock because the vocal layers blend a little better and the instruments are a lot easier to mold together of like guitars and synths
Yeah.
versus like EDM having oh 93 layers for a hook and it's overwhelming.
Because I was going to say, I bet it was quite, challenging to bring them both together, because it probably took thousands of hours probably to try and make something out of it as well before you discover this alternative pop and rock. And for anybody who may be watching or listening to it might think, what the earth is EDM, or what on earth is all that about? Could you describe it? Can you go into more detail about that? Because I'm intrigued as well.
Yeah, about EDM,
Yeah, EDM,
uh,
that's it. Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry.
electronic dance music. It's like if you've ever heard of like raves or
Yeah, yeah,
giant music festivals, it's like I know in Europe there's like the underground rave culture in
yeah,
Eastern Europe,
yeah, yeah.
and that's just a bunch of kids taking drugs and listening to heavy bass.
That's a good description for it.
I
But
think that sums up the whole culture.
yeah, yeah, exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. Because we do have a lot of festivals over, a lot of waves, and some are better than others. Some involve all that drugs and whatnot, and others are more controlled and better organized and whatnot. But it happens, doesn't it? But of course, as you mentioned earlier, you mentioned about growing up on like N and other great music artists. And is there anybody you would love to collab with in the near future?
Yes. Um, I've always wanted to work with Mike Shinoda from Fort Minor and Lincoln Park. I've also, this is kind of, I know most people, when I tell them this, they look at it kind of strange because of the music I do make. I would love to work with Charlie Puth. I think he's just, oh, he's phenomenal. I love the way he can create things and the way he sees his vocal. Oh, he's a big pop artist here, and
Yeah.
I think it's phenomenal. Love to work with The Weeknd,
Yeah.
and let's see. Oh, there is. I would love to do a track with Kenny Hoopla because we're both from Wisconsin and we both kind of sit in that alternative rock indie scene. So that would be a big one for me to at least have a track with another person from Wisconsin.
Well, it
That's
makes
kind of
sense. Yeah,
plain.
makes sense. Two homeboys, collabing together and representing the state of Wisconsin in a big way. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, some great names you mentioned there as well. Everyone knows who they are, the Weekend are and who Charlie Puth is as well. So, phenomenal. But I know you've worked with some other people as well in when you've been, the engineer as well. And how did that happen as well? That's very good to put on your resume. When you want to do
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, when I first moved to California, I was working in a mastering studio and then I switched to a recording studio. And then I got picked up to engineer for Sony for the label. And I started engineering because initially in Wisconsin, there were no studios. So I had to be the one to make my own music.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good. So that's what I ended up going to school for was learning how to really properly engineer and just keep putting in the time to figure out how to make the music actually sound better
Mm.
so that it sounded more professional and I didn't have to pay for all the studio time. And along the way, I just got noticed a lot because I had started engineering seriously so young that by the time I was like 6, 7 years into engineering, I was still only 22, 23, and I was making a big pop on the scene for the engineering because all the labels wanted me as their engineer to come work with their artists. And so that way I got a credit on Nelly's last album. I worked for ASAP, Smoke Perp. I ended up doing this rapper named Makai, who in return ended up doing a feature on one of my songs. It's been really nice to be able to engineer because I get to collaborate with all of these artists and be in a more intimate space with them. And I find it really fun because like I got that credit for Nelly's album, and 4 years prior, I remember seeing him in concert. So to go from like watching him to being in the chair next to him,
Yeah.
helping him make music, it's so cool.
And I guess about like a like a round circle kind of moment as well. Like it's come full circle as well for like watching him in the crowd to then being able to sit next to him, the legend of Nelly, being able to help him on his next big single or album as well. And I bet as well, was he quite a cool person to work with?
Oh yeah, he's awesome. Like I love working with him, and I remember that we got finished with our studio session at 5 a.m. I
Wow.
got home, and at 9 a.m. I'm waking up to a FaceTime from him, and I answered. I was like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "Hey champ, I need you to email the vocals." And I was like, "For sure, dude." And so I had to email the vocals to his other engineers back in Nashville to
That's
finish the album.
awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Of course, Nelly, throwing out some great bangers back in the noughties and even still today as well. Putting out those big bangers and what a pleasure. What I bet you that was quite what's the word I'm looking for is stunbound by actually get to not only see him in concert, get to work with him, but having a FaceTime with him as well. That's great.
Yeah.
Quite
That-
quite.
That's probably the one person I've worked with where like my mom and sister are like, really? Like I think that's when they started to realize like I was kind of doing something
Yeah.
because I finally was working with somebody that they grew up with that
Yeah.
they knew and loved.
Mm.
And they were like, "Oh, this is awesome." And I was like, "Yeah, it is.
It is
Super
awesome.
cool."
It is, yeah, absolutely. And I hope you get to do more things with Nelly, not just for maybe him, but maybe for you as well, for your music. That'd be a good crossover.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It would be for sure. And then loads more people will hear about you as well in return. But I mean, you got credit, so that's one great thing because people will see the credits and say, "Oh, who are you?" and then search you up and hopefully become a fan of your work as well.
Yeah, that is the hope. And I'm still checking every day, seeing when his album goes gold so I can get a plaque and hang it up in my studio.
Sick. I love that. But I mean, are you still in contact with him to this day, or have you kind of not spoken to him since
Yeah.
you worked with him?
I have his number and we'll exchange every now and again if
Yeah.
he's like in town and needs an engineer. But he's been mostly based in Nashville and doing shows around the country, so it
Yes.
hasn't been in a while.
Fair enough. But at least you still got his number and you always hit him up every now and then, or even say happy birthday to him and whatnot. So that's quite cool. And hopefully he has got your number saved as well. Like, this is the best electronic guy engineer in the business type thing. And of course you work with, as you mentioned as well, ASAP as well, who's quite a big artist as well, on the same kind of level as Nelly as well. What a pleasure! I bet that was to work with him as well.
Yeah, there was when I was working at Sony, it was definitely a lot of just rap artists, and
Yeah.
so I got really deep into that niche of like some of the bigger levels and then some up and coming underground artists. And it does get a little repetitive engineering some rap artists, which I think helped me in my transition to like trying pop and rock,
Yeah.
just because you can only listen to like the same bass line and 808s every day for so long before like mentally I started getting fatigued by that music and wanted to start working on other things.
No, that makes sense, absolutely. And I mean, as well, I guess if you decide to do both, it gives you the break from one thing to focus on something else and then go back to that as well. It means you're not always constantly working on the same thing over and over again as well, I guess.
And it does help to start blending the genres together once you've like, okay, I know I've put this many years into rap and I know it like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
But now that I'm starting to get more comfortable with the rock and pop and electronic, starting to blend them together becomes 10 times easier because I'm comfortable with all of them. So in my head, I can put those puzzle pieces together on how they need to blend to make it sound cohesive.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree with you there. Now, of course, you have mentioned recently that you have released something brand new recently over the past few weeks, and that's how I came across your work originally. 'Cause I think you were actually popped onto my Instagram feed as an advert, and
Yeah.
that's how you got into my viewership. I don't know how, but it happened, and I like that. But you, of course, you have released your new song called "Choke" a few weeks ago. We saw the video you posted. How did you come up with the name for that particular song?
I was going through a weird period this past summer of like everything's fine, like, you know, like my life is all right, I can afford my bills, but it got stuck in this monotony and like imposter syndrome and self-doubt of like, you know, sometimes when you're doing it for so long every day, you're like, is this gonna work out?
Yeah.
But like the only thing you can tell yourself is yes, because otherwise like you're gonna lose all your hope. So I really just wanted to like have a platform to speak on like, okay, these are the thoughts I'm having to myself. Like, I don't want to choke on my career because I'm doing so good. All I have to do is just not mess up and keep doing exactly what I'm doing. And it's almost inevitable that something good will happen. And so I used that song as a platform to kind of express a lot of the feelings I was having.
Fair enough. And what was the reaction been since it's been released, by the way? Have you had a lot of feedback from your fans, or maybe even people you maybe never heard of before getting in contact with you as well?
Yeah, the feedback has been amazing because it was definitely more of a transitional song from some of the other things I had been releasing that were a little grungier, a little more rock centric, and this was fully more pop rap type of an instrumental. And so to hear the positive feedback on something a little bit different than my usual, it's really reassuring that I'm headed in the right place towards working on my album and the specific genres that I've handpicked for that album. And to see that everything has gotten good reception so far, I feel a lot more confident moving forward.
Good to hear. I'm glad that things are working out. And you mentioned a few moments ago about how you got to keep grinding, to keep, you could all you just work for it. You got to all you have to just keep putting the hard work in, and it will continue to pay off for you as well. So just because you never know who may be listening or watching you from afar, and big opportunities will carry on coming your way as well.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope for everybody trying to, chase a passion or a dream. You just gotta like put your head down and keep working, and there's gonna be days where things don't work out. You just gotta brush it off and start again. Like if you give up for good. Like it's never gonna get better. But if you keep trying, there's always the chance that it's gonna happen. And so it's just, I know it's a popular saying, but it's how many times can you get back up after you're knocked down? And it's just a numbers game eventually.
Certainly is, and hopefully you keep getting up for many more months and years to come. Because again, you've been doing this since what, like 2019 or something, and looking now 2023, and you've got some big artists under your wraps already, and hopefully they can move into the music you're producing and collaborating with more artists who are into the same genres as yourself, and keep creating brand new music as well, and keep it all going up. The great thing about you as well is that you're only on Instagram as well. I guess that's less things to worry about compared to like the Facebook and the X and the TikTok and all these other social media platforms, too many to count or even to name nowadays. But how come just Instagram? What said to you like, oh, let's just stay on Instagram? It's much easier to use than all the rest.
Yeah, honestly, I hate social media. I hate having to create content and keep up with it and post it. It's the worst part of being an artist these days. I loathe having to do it, but I can do it for Instagram, and I can repurpose those videos for TikTok or YouTube Shorts. But when it comes down to it, I just don't have enough time in my day to be managing a Twitter and a Threads and a Facebook account. And until the day where I have something take off to the point that I can hire somebody to handle those for me, I'm just not going to put the extra stress on myself to do more things I don't like when I can focus more on the creative side. And I figured that if I at least stick with my Instagram, because that's the thing, I've had Instagram since I think 2013. So it's like I'm already a decade in. I can keep this one going. It's the other ones. I'm not going to start fresh right now until because especially with TikTok, you have to have such a catalog just when you start your account that it's like, do I want to take a month to make 90 videos so I can start an account on social media? It's like right now, no, I don't. But like when my album's finished and I start getting into marketing and rollout strategies, like, I won't be working on 90 things, so I can focus on making quality content. But it's hard to try to knock out quality and quantity at the same time if you're so busy trying to focus on everything else.
Yep. No, I completely agree with you. I'm on all. Well, I'm not on all platforms, but I'm on most platforms. But I mean, just being on most platforms, it's very hard to keep up with putting out content after content after content. Because sometimes I just want to focus on one platform, or just wanted to get on particular guests on the show, as well. And it takes a lot of work. So, as you say, if you want quantity over quality, I go with quantity, and that's what you get with me. And it's probably, not the best way to do things, but the algorithms and all that business, we're out of my league. Sometimes I get good views, and sometimes I get not very good views, even though they're quite a popular person like yourself, and it doesn't work out for some reason. But then people who are nobody really hear of or know of, they get hundreds of thousands of views. It's just amazing to me. But I guess that's the internet.
The age of the internet is so morbidly confusing to me. It's like I don't understand how some things are going viral and other things that aren't, just because of who can pump out the most videos or get the most eyes or yell the loudest. It's all lost on me. I'm just trying my best.
And the other thing is as well, we're both young as well. So we should be the experts of this
Yeah,
game.
man, dude.
But it's
I'm
just
24. I didn't download TikTok till like a year ago, and
yeah,
I was like, What's the deal with this? Why
yeah.
why does this matter?"
Well, I think we're actually the same age as well. There you go.
Yeah, man, the world's changing, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I know. I prefer the old school music, from the like, 90s and noughties, perfecto. Tens as well, they're okay, but like other songs nowadays are more like the same really, just different beats or similar beats in different songs, all about the same topic nowadays. So I don't really listen to any new songs at the moment, but I'm sure I will eventually. But yeah, it's quite the world we live in nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, it's such a saturated market for almost everything online that it's really hard starting up. But
Mm.
once you're there, you're kind of there, at least for a little bit. But yeah, trying to just break through the initial like herd of fish trying to get into the ocean, ugh, it's difficult.
And as well, once you're there, as you mentioned, once you're there, then you got to keep yourself relevant enough to stay at that position as well, without going backwards, isn't it? As well, so it's all comes down to logistics as well.
Yeah, it's especially doing things independently without like studio backings or label
Mm.
backings or network backings for like TV and movies.
Oh yeah,
It's very difficult because things are the financial side of things adds up. Like if you want a music video, do you have the money for the actual video, paying the set people, paying the editors? Do you have the money then for the rollout to promote the video, to do your advertising, your PR agencies? It's like, I just wanted to make a video and drop it. Why am I now looking at like a 15 grand price tag to
yeah.
have a proper strategy rollout? Otherwise, I feel like I'm wasting even the 4 grand to make the video.
And as well, I'm hoping you know who this person is. You should do, hopefully. There's a guy called Wick Astley, uh,
Yeah.
and he released a new video recently, a new music video, and he recorded it on his mobile phone. He didn't need no professional cameras or any, microphones or anything like that. He had his wife record him on his phone of his new music video. That's just great nowadays. You can cut a lot of costs now, or just to film on your mobile phone. It's just perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how I actually do all my like Instagram reel clips.
Yeah.
I have like a set of LED lights and some backdrops, and I just record it on my phone, airdrop it to my computer, and just edit and color grade it.
We just saw in the background, in where you are, by the way, I think it's a cat, which we just saw. Many people will probably want to see your cat now, so here it comes. Full screen of your great cat. And what's its name, by the way?
This cat is called Desi. He's
Desi.
our black cat. He likes to lay on his back with his belly to the sky. He's the only cat I've ever met that likes belly rubs.
I like that. Have you just got the one? Have you got more?
I have this one.
Oh yes, we
This
can
is
just
Lucy.
Lucy. Yeah, we can just see that in the background there. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have Lucy and Desi. We got Lucy when she was about 4 days old. We found her in a
Oh,
bush, and we had to like
oh
bottle feed her
no.
and everything.
Oh no.
And then when she was probably about 5 months old, we got Desi so that she could have a friend.
Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah, a play fun as well. That's good. That's good. I have two dogs. Uh, One of them, the youngest one, who is actually the mother and daughter. One of them, when it sleeps, when it goes onto its back, it sometimes puts its front paw into the air, like it's like it's Superman or Superwoman type thing. It's just hilarious. I've never seen any dog put their front paw in the air like that before. So that's just hilarious. But I guess similar as well. 'Cause, animals are quite funny.
Yeah, animals make everything worth it. Whether it's dogs, like growing up, I had a bunch of dogs. I had
Yeah.
lizards, toads, fish, snails. I had everything under the sun, but I never had a cat. So since I got my own place and moved out, I've been able to have these two cats, and they make everything better because there's just always somebody there. But I like that the cats are a little independent because sometimes I have to go out of state for like engineering or for studio work. And so it's nice to be able to have something where, like, even though my girlfriend will still be home and working, like, you don't need somebody there always to take it out and feed it like a dog and take you for walks. Like, the cats are something that if you don't fully have the time on a certain day, they're still going to be fine, which I
Yeah.
find has worked really well for my schedule.
Exactly, and not just for your schedule, but also for your girlfriend's schedule as well. So it's much more easier to manage your schedules because you can don't have to worry about, oh, I got to feed this, or got to make sure it's got enough food or water, or got to make sure it goes out before I can leave, type thing. So it's a win-win there, isn't it, for you guys?
Yeah, it was an initial learning period to get them to stop chewing on all the cables in my studio
Yeah.
and to not jump on my studio desk. And, but once they were good, they were fine. They used to try to climb like the soundproofing,
Oh no.
like they would climb all the way up to the ceiling in that.
Oh,
Oh, it was
oh.
a nightmare.
How did you get him to stop it then in the end? Did you just have to keep training
Uh,
him, or what
yeah,
else?
just keep saying no, keep pulling them off.
Yeah.
There's also like I think for one time we used like a cat deterring spray for like getting them to stop climbing the walls.
Interesting.
It was like I don't know what it was made of. My girlfriend found it. She's the cat expert. I just like that.
I love that.
But yeah, it was some spray we sprayed on the foam so they would stop climbing it. And then after that, they sort of just got the hint not to do it anymore.
So your girlfriend is the cat whisperer in in,
Oh
in,
yeah,
in, in that way then.
yeah. She's the cat whisperer and the pop star.
I like that. Well, maybe one day I might have her on this show as well to see what she thinks
Yeah,
about that story. to see if
absolutely.
she to see if it matches or if it's a bit maybe differently. Who knows? But we could be a good conversation, I'm sure. So, talk us about then. You mentioned about you gave out some great advice regarding how you got into the music business because it's not always easy. It's not always, as you say, talent. You went to work on your to get the talent, and that means to anybody out there, including myself, who maybe not a singer or whatever, could somehow become a singer or even an engineer as well, which is cool to
Yeah,
see. So if you don't want to be a singer or if singing's not for you, then try something else in the music industry. Don't just think, I can't do that, so I'm not going to even try anything else.
yeah. There's aspects to everything. So like, regardless of if you want to be an actor or if you want to be a musician, like sometimes you might learn that that's not exactly going to happen, but you can still work in the industry you want to. You just might have to secure a different role. Like you can pick up engineering, you could pick up being a camera operator on movies or a director. Like there's a bunch of different roles you can do to be involved with the things you love. And most of it comes down to like if you want to be better at something, just start YouTubing it. The
Yeah,
hardest thing to do is to take the first step. But would you rather take that first step today or keep talking about taking that first step for 2 years? Because if you take the first step today and just dive into it and figure out what to do and how to do it and start making your mistakes, you're going to be light years ahead of than if you just keep talking about wanting to do it.
yeah, no, that's great advice. And I like how you mentioned about YouTube as well because I remember, this is probably showing our ages here, but I remember when YouTube launched in 2005, I think it was, or 2004, and it's old, it's vintage now.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what we would have done before YouTube because I don't think there was any other video platform out there before YouTube came along in either 2004, 2005. But I mean, it's been going on for so long now. It's like that's just the go-to place, isn't it? But I mean, I wouldn't know what people used to do before YouTube.
Yeah, as hard as social media has made everything, the bright side of the internet has been just the vast knowledge that is put out there for anybody to learn as long as they want to go looking for it. Like the University of YouTube and Google has gone me so far. You just take that and mix it in with the things you already know and things you learn just from firsthand experience. And you can really pretty much get close to being professional at anything that you want to. Or even if it's something that needs like certificates, you can get as close to just like a working man's career
Yeah.
in anything just by YouTube and Googling your way through it and trying it out for yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree with you there. And I am right. It was 2005 when YouTube launched. I did doubt myself there, thinking 2004, but no, Valentine's Day 2005 was when it launched, and it's been there ever since. But I mean, is as your popularity grows and grows and grows, is there any TV shows you would love to appear on, or any game shows, or even reality shows you wanna venture out into?
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to do like proper remakes of like the Percy Jackson books because they've messed it up every time they've tried, and I grew up loving those books.
Gives a bad
I
impression to you.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. I would love to be in charge of making something that was actually accurate to the books. Same thing with the Death Note. The live action version was god awful. I would like to make one that was like went over everything episode by episode, just live action, make it look nice. Same with Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah,
I love that movie. Was awful. Like every show that I've really been involved with, or the books that I've liked, they've just absolutely destroyed any sort of the live action. And I would like to be in charge of making sure that it's like true to the actual source.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, like how you remembered it when you were growing up, and not
Yeah.
because some of the remakes and some of the things they make or rate haven't been always been the best. There has been a lot of flops, hasn't there, over the past few years?
Yeah, it seems like it's been a lot more flops than good.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. But I mean, like, is there any TV shows you would like to go on to, like any cooking shows or even like on a like a Big Brother type show, or even The Masked Singer? That's very popular over there on in the US.
I wouldn't mind going on Survivor.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that would be
Survivor.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're on season like 43 right now.
Wow.
I'll be on season 44 if they let me. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it will be. I don't know if it's the same as the one in the UK, but over here, it's just recently returned to TV over here. It's been off the air for a few years, so it's now returned onto a different channel over here. So every Saturday night, but that would be a very good adventurous one to go on. Or even there's a show called over here called Race Across the World as well. I don't know if you have something similar over there.
Nah, I mean, I don't know what Race Across the World is, but it could be similar to like the Amazing Race that used to be on back here.
Okay, and what was that about?
It was like teams of two traveling the world to complete challenges, and each week some team got eliminated, and it was like trying to travel to do different challenges in different countries throughout the whole season.
Yeah, it's similar to that. Yeah.
I just thought of it. Another show. I would love to be on the Boys on Amazon.
Oh yeah, The Boys. Yeah.
Yeah,
good
love that show.
Good show that. Didn't know you guys got that over there. So I'm glad to see that on Amazon Prime. It's very global, then, isn't it? but I mean, you mentioned about earlier on in our chat about about you played soccer. So was there any actual soccer teams you supported or anything like that?
Oh yeah, Borussia Dortmund.
Oh wow. Okay.
I was a big fan of Marquinhos Royce.
Right. Interesting choice of team to support. I'm thinking like a Bayern Munich fan or something like that, or even, in America as well. Going to some great soccer teams in America now, and they keep growing and growing now.
Oh yeah, every 4 years I had all my Germany gear out. I was a big fan of the German World Cup team.
Do you still follow Borussia Dortmund today, or have you?
Not as much since I stopped playing. But yeah, their World Cup win against man, that was just wonderful.
Oh yes, when Germany won the World Cup, yeah.
When Götze scored that 115th minute goal, it was perfect.
Yeah, I remember that, and I remember when they got eliminated out of a World Cup by Mexico. That was quite hilarious because That's never happened before. But like,
Yeah,
what?
it was rough for them.
Yeah, like, did I hear that why Mexico were knocking out Germany? Because usually Germany are quite, one of the powerhouses, in the World Cup. And I was like, what? Wow. But I know, but I thought maybe England could win then because we were doing quite well.
Yeah,
So we got
some
to
of the German
semi-finals.
talent, the German team hasn't been the same since that last World Cup win. But to be fair, most of the players were retiring. They're old.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like Italy, Italy have they won the Euros and now most of that team now retired or whatever. Oh, yeah. Are you
Yeah,
still
it's
there?
nice
Yeah.
keeping up with the sports, but I just haven't found the time lately, especially to watch like the full matches, or I can occasionally catch up on some highlights.
Yeah.
It's just it's a little difficult with the schedule.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. But I mean, try what you can do, isn't it? Really, try to fit in whenever you can. But good to see a completely different team being mentioned on it for once. I like that because usually it's like the American football or it's mostly English clubs. So it's nice to see a completely a different team for once. Because I figured to say something in England or something then. But right, Borussia Dortmund, I love it.
Yeah, the Bundesliga was where it was at.
Yeah, the Bundesliga, yep, and but the best league nowadays is still the Premier League. That's still the A League,
Yeah,
unfortunately. But not by the best club in the world. However, we're still got a long way to go before we see those days back.
yeah, especially with Messi coming to America and Ronaldo going to the Middle East. It's just like, who's going to be the next great player?
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
How long do we have to wait?
Because before Messi, it was Ronaldinho, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ronaldinho, Pele,
Yeah.
the other Ronaldo.
Yes, the other Ronaldo, yes, and and it'll be interesting to see who the next star will be. But I think that Freddie Jong, I think his name is, who plays for Barcelona. I might mispronounce his name, but he's meant to be the next wonder kid, isn't he? Got a bright future. He could be the next breakout star.
It is interesting. They all come in waves, so we just get to be on the lookout for the next one.
Yeah, because one will pop up somewhere. Before we let you go, let's just remind people that you can follow my guests here tonight on Instagram. You see it on your screen there. I am James Laurent. You can find him on Instagram. Over 12,000 followers. He does follow Nelly, of course, on Instagram. Any other great big names as well on Instagram. And hopefully, you get to do some more stuff with many people and into 2024. But before we let you go, people will probably want to know what you did for Halloween.
Oh, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Last month. Last month.
We
Yeah.
we woke up, went to a pumpkin patch, went to the mall, then came home and carved out our pumpkin, and found out it was moldy inside, so we threw it away.
Yeah.
And then we just worked on music.
Did you get any trick or treaters or not?
No, they don't really come to like
Your
our
side. Your way.
door. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because I'll see them walking down the street, but they never hit our door. So I was just like, all right.
They must know that you haven't got a pumpkin properly, then that's probably what it is, isn't it? Because I believe that's some kind of thing which if you got no pumpkin, then they won't come knocking on your door.
Yeah, I felt like if I put the pumpkin out, it was just a biohazard to children.
Fair enough. We'll leave it on that. But it's been a pleasure having you on the show. And is there anything you would like to mention or say anything before we wrap this up?
Just thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to have, some long format conversations. I know I don't often do this.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to be able to get more of a personal side of myself out. And
Yeah.
so I really thank you for giving me the opportunity.
No, you're welcome. And I will tag you in a clip either this evening or tomorrow, and it'll be and I will tag it on to you because I know you're probably not aware of this, but you can allow people to invite you as a collaborator on Instagram posts, which basically means if you decide to accept that, their post will appear on your Instagram as well, if that makes sense.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I mean, you can. So not just for me, but just for in future reference. If let's say you collab with someone as well, and then they want to tag you in something, and then they do the collaborating tag, then if you accept that, then it will appear on your side of things. Means your fans can also can react to it as well, type thing.
Yeah, I'm excited for them to be able to sit down and have a conversation with me.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what my show is about. It's not about I ask you a question, you answer it, we move on to the next question, and I like to have a bit of a conversation in there and have some interesting topics pop up, like the cats, for instance, because if they didn't walk onto your background, I would have never known that you had cats. So see, that's why and that's somebody else, because somebody else said to me, why do you do the show live? And I'm like, well, because of the unpredictable, of
Yeah.
the risk, because anything could go wrong. I've had on somebody years ago. He came on about to speak, said one word or something, and then his power went off. So that was quite hilarious because it wasn't expected. And then he came back half an hour later. I asked him, well, what happened to you? You were cut off. And he said, oh, I had a power cut. I guess that's something different.
Man.
It's just the risk. I enjoy the risk, the unpredictable. It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is. And I hope
Yeah,
you'll come back on the show again as well, because, I can probably chat to you for hours.
Yeah, of course, anytime.
Great. Look forward to that. And I hope you have a great November. And I can't wait to see what else happens. And I'm sure once that Nelly releases that album, and when you get that reference and credits, I'm sure you'll be posting it all over your social media as well.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Look forward to seeing that, and I'll be giving that a fire emoji and even a like as well, and maybe even a share. You never know, but it's been a pleasure. And if you enjoyed this episode with my guest James, then please like it on YouTube, share the video around, tell them more about James and his great work in the music industry, from his own, bringing rock and pop together, the alternative versions of that as well, doing engineering for some great artists, and maybe giving recommendations of artists to work with in the future as well, for both his types of music. And as well, if you're new around here and you should be subscribed, you want to see more of my content, you should do, because it's the best kept secret here on YouTube. It's 10 seconds or less to smash that subscribe button. Over 216 subscribers, and we've had on some fantastic celebs on here, because you never know who may accept to come on this show. I truly mean that. Even I don't know who's going to accept on this show until it happens, so even I'm mysterious that way. But until the next episode drops, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night on this hump day.